There's nothing worse as an online tutor than not knowing where your next student is coming from, because you're relying on referrals, word of mouth, posting on social media, and you're going around in circles. Well, look, I've got you covered, because what I've done is in this video, I've taken a coaching session delivered by my head of marketing at the Teacher Project with some of our clients, where he's walking them through how to run successful Facebook ads to get online tutoring students to sign up. So they've got a pipeline of students to speak with and then seamlessly enroll into their online tutoring programs. So I'm going to take you behind the scenes and show you what it looks like when we coach our clients. And after coaching over 3,500 teachers now, over the past 5 years, we've seen more advertisements than anybody else on the planet inside of the online tutoring space. So I'm going to take you behind the scenes and show you a coaching call delivered by our head of marketing to some of our clients. So let's jump in.
Marissa Rothschild.
Hi.
Okay, so looking at your question here, the last few days, my ad has not been bringing in any leads. What can I do better? Now, the first thing that we got to be aware of is that leads are going to be coming in ebbs and flows. We're going to get good days, we're going to get bad days. And usually, this isn't always the case, but the good days come over the weekend, the bad days usually come Wednesday to Friday. Now, that isn't always the case, but it is a rule of thumb. And what we got to remember is, and this goes for everyone here listening, if we are spending $15 a day on our ads, and on our ad metrics, it says that we're getting a $5 lead cost, that does not mean 3 leads a day. What that means is 21 leads a week. So we want to be very careful looking at our leads or our lead flow on a daily basis. We want to be looking at it on a weekly basis or a 10-day period, because there are going to be days where we get no leads, even if we're spending $15, $20 a day. And the reason being is because it takes someone 7 to 9 times to see your ad before they take the next step. So when you have those days, or maybe even 2 days, where you haven't gotten any leads, unless there's anything bigger at stake here, which we'll look at in a second, just treat those days as Facebook showing your ad to new people for the first time. What we usually see, this isn't always the case, but we usually see if you've had a couple of days of very low lead flow, usually that's followed by a day where you get 4 leads or 5 leads or whatever it might be. So that's something to factor in here. Now let me get up your tracking metrics. And before I jump into your ad account, have we seen an improvement? Did the leads come back?
Yeah, they did.
They did? Okay, nice. Did they come back in style? Did they come back with kind of more?
Like I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of nothing, and then I had 4 leads.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, five days of no leads is a little bit worrying, but we'll jump in and we'll take a little look. Your account is Read with Marissa, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, let's see if I can find your ad account. Okay, fantastic. Great to see your tracking metrics completed. Nice. Okay, yes, we can see we had a big old drought here. But then it kind of picked up quite nicely. Yeah, 5, 6, 8 leads. That kind of makes up, actually, if we look at the trend. You know, we started off 1 lead here, a couple of days, no leads, 1, 1, 1, and then they all started coming through. Fantastic. So that's exactly what I was just saying there, Marissa. These down days, even though that's quite frustrating as we're looking at it and we spent close to $40, they have given you those leads that have come through, meaning that we've got a very nice cost per lead on average. So even though we did have those 4 or 5 days of no leads, if we look at our average is still very healthy. Our average is still very good. You got 1 booking, which is fantastic. Now I'm curious, did this person book all the way through themselves, or was that someone that you booked in, you nurtured?
They booked themselves, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So we're going to be very, very careful with those automated bookings. Hopefully you still gave them a call, you still gave them a text, you managed to follow up with them at some degree. Yeah. But yeah, I think our main focus right now needs to be on our lead outreach. You know, what's that first text that we're sending? What's that first message that we're outreaching to get these parents into conversations? And this goes for everyone here listening. The tricky part of building your business in these infancy stages is not the ads. The ads are pretty simple to get right? The goal is to just get a parent who has a child who's the right age to put their hand up. That's it. That's the job of the ad. The job of everything else is to take that parent, hold them by the hand, roll out the red carpet, really understand their situation, and lead them to a decision which hopefully and ultimately is joining your program. But the job of the ad is to not make a sale. The job of the ad is to not even get bookings. And I know that sounds counterintuitive. The job of your ad is to bring you leads, to bring you phone numbers and email addresses of parents that you can help. So just a kind of bit of a reminder for everyone here, make sure that if your ads are live and you're getting leads, 90% of your time in building your business needs to be on sales training on follow-up, training on the messages that you're sending out, the different times that you're calling your leads. And it is a beast, guys. It is tricky. It is hard. It's less black and white than ads. Ads are zeros and ones. We can follow the numbers and we can turn off the poor performers. But with follow-up, we're testing word placement. I'm going to swap this word out for this word. I'm going to ask this question instead of this question. So it's a lot more technical. So just a side note there, Marissa, just making sure that you're focusing a lot of your time on getting really detailed feedback on your follow-up on what you're sending out to these leads. Okay, nice. Yeah. So how are we getting on? Are we getting any of these guys on a phone call? Are they picking up some of the phone sometimes?
I have not had one person pick up on the phone, but I've had tons of people reply to text messages.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, well, if you're noticing that no one's picking up the phone number, but people are responding to their text messages, there might be something up with your tutor. Are you calling from Tutor Boss?
No, I'm just calling from my cell phone.
Okay, interesting. So if we're calling from our cell phone and we're not noticing a pickup rate, there's a few things that I would, without making this a lead follow-up clinic, but there's a few things that I'd start testing is making sure that you're double dialing. If you're calling your leads, call them once, let it ring out, call 1 to 2 minutes later. It's going to signify that you are maybe someone from their child's school, maybe a doctor. A scammer is not going to double dial, right? So that's going to be a big secret weapon into getting parents to pick up the phone, and then making sure that maybe you're getting some feedback on what it is that you're leaving as a voice message. And I was talking about this with a few of the other coaches just earlier today. One of the biggest issues that I see with a lot of you guys first starting off and speaking to your leads is that we're chasing the sale too much. We call our leads, we text our leads, and everything's about, hey, can I tell you about my program? Do you want to jump on a call so that I can tell you about my program? Very kind of weighted messages like this, instead of coming from a place of understanding and customer service and wanting to help. So get some feedback maybe on your voicemails. We leaving voice messages after the second dial, and really try to avoid, and it's really easy to fall into this trap, but try to avoid sounding like a cold caller or sounding like a telemarketer. And it's really easy to fall into that trap. Hi, it's Marissa here from so-and-so tutoring. I've just got your XYZ application. Thank you so much. You already sound like you're someone from Meta or Google or the local insurance company trying to just take their money. So make sure that we're injecting our personality as much as possible. Even if it's as simple as, hi, is this Sophie? Hi, it's Marissa, the reading tutor here. I hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. Whereabouts in the world are you based? Little bits of rapport building. Speak to them like your friend. I won't go down the rabbit hole of follow-up, but that's just some kind of a few pointers there. But these are the conversations that I'd be having with your coach and Rob on the sales clinic as well.
Okay.
Okay. So 40 leads over the last month at an average of $7.51. Very, very nice. Okay. Let's have a little look over the past week. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, pretty much the same price. Very nice click-through rate. Lots of link clicks. And we've obviously got our video ad here as well. So there's a couple things that I'm looking at here. I'm looking at the amount of link clicks that you had. So you had 73 people over the past week click on your ad, and we've had 8 people enter in their information, become a lead. Okay, so I think a potential test that we could make would be on your instant form. Okay, what the goal would be here would be to get closer to 20% of your link clicks turning into leads. Being in a situation where maybe we were looking back over the past week, you had 73 link clicks, but you had 10 leads, 11 leads, or 12 leads, meaning that we're matching your instant form a little bit more so with your ad. So I'm going to click into your ad here. I'll walk through the test in a second, but the test that I mean would be this page right here. So is your third grader struggling to read and at risk of failing the ELA exam? So I like this. It's short, it's sweet, it's snappy, doesn't take too much brain power to condense and to read. However, we're probably missing something here. And what we might be missing is actually telling them what to do. People are sheep, especially on social media. If we don't tell them to answer the questions, and we don't tell them why to answer the questions, and then we don't tell them to book a call at the end, then they won't. We're just expecting them to try and work out what to do themselves. So I would definitely set up a test with this right here. Now, the good news is that we filmed a new curriculum, and it's only gone live a couple of weeks back, but I have filmed an updated instant form curriculum. So it's there inside of the modules, Marissa, and I've got all of the templates, the copy, so you can just go ahead and copy and paste it directly in, but it just beefs this out a little bit. Okay, so I really like this bit. Is your third grader struggling to read? I don't think we necessarily need to change this, but maybe this sub headline. we can just explain why we want them to answer the questions to see if they're a good fit for our tutoring, to see if they're a good fit for our program, and then maybe a little bit there about booking a call later on at the end. So that would be my test here on the instant form. Do you have access to the new modules? Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen
Yes,
them?
I do. Yes.
Awesome,
Yep.
fantastic. So I think it's like module 6. You don't need to watch all of it. You can just open the document and see the tests. You'll then just be able to copy and paste this directly over. Another test that I would make is we are verifying the phone numbers, which I like, but that is giving you a premium on your lead cost. Now, honestly, I think just hearing the fact that you didn't get any of them to pick up the phone and we were using SMS verification, that indicates that we need to look at how we're calling, maybe the times that we're calling, double dialing the voice messages, because if all of our leads are putting in their SMS verification, that means that this is a real phone number, that this is their real phone. So it's a little bit worrying that we didn't get any of them to pick up the phone. So in that situation, Marissa, I'd probably turn that off. I'd give you cheaper leads just to give you more practice, more follow-up, more bang for your buck, really. So I turn that off. I turn off the verification code here, and I would just pad out this bit right here. Pad out this bit right here. And when you look at the training, I also give examples of other questions that you could ask. So I like this question, when would you like your child to transform into a confident reader? As soon as possible, maybe later. But to me, this is an obvious question. Okay, 90% of people are going to click, hopefully, as soon as possible. It doesn't really give us that much information. So what you could do there, and this is one of my favorite questions to ask, is something along the lines of, what is your child struggling with the most in reading? And then use this as an opportunity to impress the parents by putting down options that these parents are noticing. So I'll give you an example. What we don't want to put down is blending words, phonics. We don't want to put things like this down. What we want to put down is doesn't read books on their own, or gets angry when told to read, has no reading confidence, struggles to sound out big words. So the key there that I'm looking for is you're talking like a parent, not like a teacher giving their end of report card. Because these parents are going to see what their child is doing with reading at home. It's going to be very different to how a teacher would assess them in school. So it's going to be things like, oh, I got my child a book from the library, but they don't want to read it. Or my child's still reading picture books, they're not reading textbooks. Things like this, right? So having a multiple choice question in there that shows off your understanding of your niche, of your parents, would be a really good question to ask there. So all you would do, Marissa, is you would duplicate the ad set here. You would come along, you would press the duplicate button. You would duplicate this ad set if it loads. You would change the instant form. So you press the duplicate button. We're going to leave the audience the same. Then in your new ad set, you'd come in and you would just update the instant form here. You can reach out to your coach with help about this as well, because when you duplicate your instant form, you do need to map it back into Facebook. Now that is inside of the modules, so you also see that as well, but your coach or tech will be able to help with that really quickly. Press the duplicate button, update this little bit here, potentially add another question, take out the SMS verification, and that would be a really, really good test. I'm going to look at your ad for a second here and see if there's something else that we can maybe look at.
Parents, is your third grader struggling to read and at risk of failing the ELA exam? Don't wait to get them reading support. Learning to read affects all subjects.
Nice. I love it. Really, really good. I think to me, what would be a good test if you've still got this video file. So this is going to be like a double whammy. We're going to be testing your instant form, but I would maybe love to see, I don't know if you used an app to put these subtitles on, but having the subtitles, what we've noticed is having the subtitles as close to the middle of the video as possible works the best. Because we've got to remember, looking at this right here, this is the way that people view ads for the first time, where their eyes first go. So their eyes first go to this bit right here. Is your third grader struggling to keep da 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 da? Now, if that gets their interest, what they're probably going to look at next is the hook of your ad copy. And if that's enough, they're then going to go ahead and watch your video. Now, the only thing that I'm nitpicking here, and this isn't a biggie, but having the subtitles at the top kind of throws off your eyes a little bit. It's a little bit of like, okay, where do I look first? What do I read first? Where do I engage first? So my thoughts would be having the subtitles. I like the style, but having the subtitles maybe just underneath your chin, because you're straight directly in the middle. You're not going to be cut off by the like button, or, on Facebook Reels, for example, there's all of these different comments and buttons that float transparently around the video. It's gonna not put you at risk of that either. So having the subtitles just beneath your chin We've also seen, because we've tested this with the teacher project as well, we've also seen that subtitles that are on one line do a little bit better. Now, I'm not sure, were you using like CapCut or captions to put those on?
No, Jessie did it for me.
Oh, Jessie did it. Okay, fantastic.
Oh, I'll talk to her. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you've got the video file, I always use, there's lots of apps that you can use, but you've got Captions AI, this is probably what Jesse's used, Captions AI, this is a good one. And it's really cool, Marissa and everyone else, because you can just drag the video in, drag the video, sign up for your account, and it automatically adds the subtitles. So
Okay.
honestly, Marissa, if you are going to get Jesse to do that, I wouldn't worry too much about testing the new subtitles, but that could just be something that you have in your back burner for a future test. So for this time, I think the main thing there is the instant form, because you're getting leads. We just want to see if we can maybe squeeze a few more out of our link clicks. Is that okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. No worries. Thanks, Marissa. Okay. Up next, we have, just checking, did Christina Pickett join? Let me know if you hear Christina. I don't think you did. Maria Aparicio. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Maria is not here. Okay, no Maria. Robert, hey Robert, good to see you. How are we doing?
Great. Nice to see you.
Likewise. Okay, so just feedback, your question is. Ads have been up for a week now. Time for
Yeah.
improvements. Okay, nice. Yeah, this is a great time to be coming and submitting a question. So I'm curious, how do you feel like your ads have gone for the first week?
Yeah, I get a lot of clicks, but yeah, leads not so great. So I have to maybe turn some ads off. And yeah, that's why I'm here.
Let's have a little look.
Great.
Okay, so we got some leads. 27 there, average. Are we in euros? We are in euros, aren't we?
Yeah.
Let me get your account up. Can you just remind me what your offer is while I'm doing
A-levels math.
A-level maths.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so sorry, we're in pounds. Is that right?
Euro.
Euros. Okay. Am I correct in saying that you're in Germany, but you're advertising in the UK?
In Germany, but all in Germany. So
Okay, cool. So
Euro
is
in
it
Germany.
the German equivalent? Sorry, is it the German equivalent of A-level maths?
yeah, it's Abitur called here.
Got it.
But
Got
it's
it.
the same.
Okay, cool. Okay, nice. All right. So one thing I will say for starters is that you mentioned that it's the same as A-level maths. Okay, so what we're looking at now is university prep students. We're talking like what, 16 to 18? Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. 11,
Yeah.
12th grade.
11th to 12th grade. Cool, got it.
Yeah.
And would you say that it's more similar to, I don't know if you know the English system, but this is what I'm using as a reference point. Would you say it's more similar to GCSE maths where every student takes it? Or is it more similar to A-level maths where it's a little bit more precise, a little bit more focused to study a specific degree?
I believe it's exactly the same like A-levels,
Got
but
it.
I have to look it up. But I believe it's the same.
Okay, cool. The reason I asked that, Robert, is because
Yeah.
we are advertising to older students, and it's a bit of a double-edged sword. The win is that because we're targeting older students, where university is the big result, right? If they do well on this exam, in 2 years' time, they could be in a top university, right? So the goal is huge. The goal is big, and because of that, that means that you should have no issue selling your services once you have learned the sales process, everything else is in place. You should have no issue selling your services for €1,000, €1,200. We see that with the A-level maths lot because there's just more at stake. This is specialist tutoring at its finest, okay? It's a little bit different to maybe reading tutoring for primary or reading tutoring for elementary. This is very specialist maths for older students. So that's the plus side. The plus side is that once we are able to sell and once we do speak to the right parents, it should be relatively straightforward to sell our program at this higher price point. So that's the win. The downside is that your numbers are going to look a little bit different to everyone else's. We just come off the question from Marissa. Marissa was looking at lead costs for $6, $7, $8. We are not going to be getting that type of lead cost with our offer. Facebook is clever.
Okay.
Mark Zuckerberg is clever. They know that you are targeting older students. They know that you are selling higher ticket products. So they want a little bit more of that. So honestly, to beat around the bush here, these lead costs, especially this one right here, is a good lead cost for A-level students. So for example, we've got quite a few tutors up in Impact who do A-level maths, and they're getting leads for about £30. Now, the caveat here is they're getting leads for £30, but they're booking in 50% of them because their follow-up is really strong. So we've had 5 leads. Tell me about what it was like getting in touch with them. Did we speak to any of them over the phone?
Yeah, to one mother, but her child. The problem is I have like 3 of them clicked what year is your grade in on other. So it was 8th grade. And so not the right person. That was the problem. One person just hung up and the other, I didn't reach them. It was a fake number, I believe, because I don't have the verification on. So it's
Got it.
not so easy right now.
Okay, understand. I understand. Okay, nice. And yeah, so the good thing that we can do here with these with audience testing with also instant forms is that you can press this little download button here and you can download the leads that have come from your broad audience and you can also download the leads that have come from your narrow audience. Now, by the sound of it, we haven't had any decent conversations just yet, still early days. But just like you probably heard me say to Marissa there, I know it's probably going to be in German. I'm not sure who your coach is, but make sure that you're getting feedback on those texts, on those messages that you're sending out. And because your offer is very goal-based, you're going to be wanting to really understand what these teenagers want to study at university. What type of jobs do they want? That's the type of conversation that you're going to need to be having with a lot of these parents and a lot of these leads. Now, honestly, looking at this, you're getting the cheapest lead costs from your broad audience ad set. And we're in a situation where we've had 5 leads, but at the same time, we're not expecting you to have made any bookings. If we look at your tracking sheet here, the goal is 10%. The goal is 10% of our leads to turn into bookings. And we haven't even had 10 leads to get 1 booking yet. So it's great that you're here, but we're only 1 week in and we still need to keep working. We still need to keep testing. So the first thing that we need to be looking at here is obviously what is that text that you're sending out? If we can't get into text conversations, then that's going to be a problem that we need to work out. Maybe we're not sending the right type of question to engage them, or maybe we're just trying to sell them too quickly and we're coming across too salesy. There's a lot of little intricacies that we need to be careful with. So sending screenshots or maybe sending some translations of the text that you're sending is going to be really powerful to the sales clinic and to your coach. And what I will say, guys, is feel free to go off the beaten path and test other outreaches than what is in the modules. What is in the modules is a very generalized outreach, but what we see, where we see amazing results is where you take that and you put your own spin on it. You take that and you put your own personality into it. For example, Robert, if you're seeing, actually, no, this wouldn't be the case in Germany, actually, but, I was going to say you could reference what city they're from, but you won't be able to see that with the country codes. But yeah, just experimenting with that first question, that, a great question to ask is something along the lines of, is helping your teen achieve an A star in A-level maths a priority this month? So you're asking questions that are yes or no responses. So really easy questions to get them engaged. Your goal is just to get into conversations. The more conversations, the better. So here's what I'm thinking so far, Robert. And this would just be maybe a test that we run until the end of Friday, just to get you more cheap leads, is taking this €10 off of your narrow interest audience and putting it on top of your broad one. So just a really simple switch for the next 4 or 5 days to give you more leads, to get to that 10, 12 lead mark. So turning this one off and moving that $10 and putting it onto the ad set B, the broad parents audience. And then actually when we click in, we can see that image A itself is your real winner.
Okay.
Very good cost per click, very good click-through rate. Let's have a little look at your ad here. Could you just let me know what this says?
How to get your child fit for math A-levels.
Got it. Okay, fantastic. I love the background as well. Yeah, cool. This is a really, really good image. So yeah, here's what I do. Do you want me to make the changes now for you, Robert?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off number A.
Yeah.
I'm going to move that €10. I'm going to put it on this one at the top here. So this goes up to 20. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click into your ad set and I'm going to turn off ad number 3. Okay. Now it's only had 6 cents spent on it, but this €22 lead cost is really, really nice. So I like that a lot. And then honestly, Robert, if you're here, I can tell that you want to get as maximum results as possible really early on. Here's what I would be doing. I'd be starting to film some video ads. That's what's really going to crush it for you. So reach out to your coach. They'll give you some scripts to follow. But honestly, if you've got an ad that's getting you leads, my top tip for filming a video ad is just to read out your script. Use your ad copy as a loose structure or a loose script for a video ad. So like this bit right here, that's the same as your ad pretty much there, isn't it? Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So start off your ad with this. Don't start off your ad with, hey parents, it's Robert the maths tutor here. No, just go straight in with your hook, straight in with the pains, and it will work really, really well. So that would be my next big test for you. And I think if you can get a video ad out within your first 2 weeks of advertising and it's a winning video ad, you'll be in a fantastic position.
Great.
Have you been working with your coach, or have you been speaking about video ads?
Yeah, with Nigel, we talked a little bit about it. and I
Nice.
will film them.
Yeah, just keep it really simple. Keep it really simple. Selfie style, holding up your phone. Doesn't need to be Hollywood level production. And then just subtitles. Just really, really simple. And I think just by looking at your click-through rates and your cost per click, it sounds like a lot of parents really want this offer. So we just got to remember that with something like A-level maths, there might be other tutors that they're looking at. So if we're going into these conversations, if we're sending texts, like the conversation I had with Marissa earlier, if we're jumping into conversations and we're sending texts and they're very weighted behind want to learn more about my program, want to tutor, want to sign up for my program, want to speak to me about my program, parents are probably going to run away from that. So instead, we need to make all of the conversation, all of the text, all of the outreach, like I said earlier, about, hey, what uni does your child want to go to? What would an A in A-level maths mean for your team? One of my favorite questions to ask is, especially for offers like yourself, Robert, where it's very goal orientated, not pain orientated sometimes, is this type of question. If I had a time machine and we were to go 1 year into the future, what would life be like for your team? What uni would they be in? And then you get this parent to just, release all of these ideas of where they want their child to be, and they want them to do this, and they want them to be a doctor and studying in Berlin or whatever it might be. And that's the key. That's the key of doing good follow-up. So yeah, make sure that you're getting feedback on your text messages that you're sending out. Make sure that we're calling our leads at different times, double dialing. Just because we called at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday doesn't mean that they're not going to pick up at Thursday at 4 p.m. So make sure that we're experimenting with different call out times. But no, honestly, this is a good start. This is a good start for someone who's just started advertising for a week. I think the fact that you've got 5 phone numbers and email addresses is really cool.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
No worries. No worries, Robert. Whereabouts in Germany are you based?
In Berlin.
In Berlin. Oh, very nice.
Guys, quick interrupt. I hope you're enjoying the video, but I wanted to make sure you picked up your copy of Teaching on Your Own Terms. It's my best-selling book, and it shares with you the exact 5 steps that I've used with over 2,000 teachers at this point, helping them build their dream online teaching businesses. It went to bestseller in 7 categories. It's been featured by NASDAQ in Times Square, New York City. And I know you're going to love it. Inside of the book, you're going to learn things like how to position yourself as the go-to tutor in the marketplace, and the offer that you can create to get your ideal students reaching out, and how to communicate that. I'll share with you what I've seen as the best advertising strategies to get in front of new students and parents who want what you've got, how to sell your services, and everything you actually need to include in an online group tutoring business to make sure your students crush it and get great results. There's some free gifts and bonuses in there. I think in the first couple of pages, there's a link. You can go and grab some free gifts on me. But I know you're going to love it. Teaching on Your Own Terms. I'll leave a link down below in the comments, and go and pick up your copy today.
Nice. I lived in Hamburg for 3 years. I lived in Freiburg for a year. I don't speak German because I can't speak it.
It's so difficult.
It is. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Okay. Up next, we have Christina Foolon. How are we doing, Christina? Good to see you.
Hi, Ollie. Thanks. Good to see you too.
Okay. So yeah, because we've spoken about zip codes before, haven't we? And it's time to test. Am I right in saying that we've spoken about putting zip codes on our audience?
Yeah, we thought about it. Yeah. We tried some different things.
Yeah. So
what I was wondering is just changing zip codes, just doing a test of just marketing to a couple small towns and see if anybody responds to me and if it is a better lead situation or not, and just wondering.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's first try and diagnose the situation here, because on paper for October, we've got a lot of leads. 49 leads at a very good cost. Now, that is on the cheaper side. So I'm looking at that $4.87 lead cost, and I am thinking, well, if we do add some parameters in there and that lead cost goes up to $6 or $7, but we're having better success with them, well, that's a trade that we'd make any day of the week. But I mean, yeah, just kind of give me a brief overview of those 49 leads. Did we get into many conversations? Did we speak to any of them over the phone?
I did get into some conversations. I had 5 grandparents, even though I did the age. I had 2 people who were like paycheck to paycheck, so that didn't work out for them. I had a couple behaviors, which the kids are like running out of the class, throwing the stuff. And I had some non-working numbers. So I was still, I try to say with the grandparents, okay, well, let's get everyone on the call. And it's, so I'm trying to I'm curious to see what happens if I target just a couple cities.
Absolutely.
Just out of curiosity to see what happens. And what is
Yeah.
your advice on what's happening?
Yeah, so if we were in a situation where out of those 49 leads, we didn't speak to anybody, no one was responding to our text, no one was picking up the phone, then I'd be looking at maybe things like making your instant form a little bit longer, adding in some extra questions, experimenting with that SMS verification. But I think because it's more the fact that you've actually got parents coming to you, you've got grandparents coming to you, you've got kids coming with behavioral issues, and you're in a situation where you've got people coming to you from all different walks of life for different help for different things. That's a bit of a trickier issue. And that means that we might need to look at our ads, we might need to look at our hook and how we're calling out the parents, but I don't think that's too much of an issue. So I do agree with you. I do agree with you in this situation. We either test the zip codes or we test specific states and specific cities. Now, I would choose the specific states or specific cities options if you feel like you know some towns or you know some cities which you think would be a really good push for your ads. But yeah, let's take a little look. So did we have nobody? Was there anybody that you spoke to who actually was a good fit, but just didn't have the money, was living paycheck to paycheck? You know, that example that you said there, was that child for your program still?
The child was, the parents actually, they was from Arizona, and they actually lived on an Indian reservation in Arizona, and they got funding from the government, and they only had $200 left for this month, and just the child was a good fit. Yeah,
Right.
and with the grandparents, they did seem like the children would be a really good fit, but the grandparents were just inquiring. They hadn't talked to the parents. They just were inquiring. I get a lot of that. They just put their number in so they can inquire.
Exactly. And that goes back to my point that I was making with Marissa. That's actually what everyone's doing on our ads. Remember, the job of the ad is to not make a sale. The job is to not make a booking. Very rarely, I mean, out of anyone here, when was the last time you clicked on an ad and purchased something from that ad straight away? Never. You maybe click on an ad, you join an email list, you get sent emails, you see a retargeting ad, you maybe speak to someone, and then maybe you make a purchasing decision. So when you said there, Christina, which I thought was really interesting, that you just get a lot of people inquiring, that's exactly what we want. These people are not going to be coming to us ready to sign up for our program, ready to give us $800 for 12 weeks of tuition. That's never going to happen. Or if it does, it's going to be that 1%. Where that comes from is moving that inquiry, that person who's just inquiring a little bit about our services, and it's how we present ourselves and how we understand their situation so that they feel like, okay, well, I'm no longer inquiring. I need to work with Christina. Christina's fantastic. She understands my child's situation and my child's needs. I have to have my child join her program because she's fantastic. That's the difference that we need to get to. And we're not going to get through that from just a couple of text message conversations. It's going to be building rapport, sending some great questions, maybe speaking to these grandparents over the phone, getting them to really dive into what they feel like their child is having the issues with at school at the moment. I won't make it, again, a setting clinic. I know we've spoken about that. But yeah, we just got to remember that these people are not going to be coming to us ever pre-sold. They're probably flirting with other tutors. They probably got other things that they're thinking about, right? They are, exactly like you said, they are just inquiring. That's it. It's our job to provide enough value and to show them that we are the person that they should choose. And a lot of that just simply comes down to understanding what is keeping that parent up at night, or that grandparent, for example. Why are they very concerned about their child's? Why are they concerned about their child's reading? What would they like it to be like in a year from now, for example? So yeah, let's test the different audiences. Let's test a location-based audience. And here's what we can go ahead and do. So we can duplicate your ad set. If we press the quick duplicate button, I'm going to allow the Advantage Plus Creative. And what we can do here is we've got two options really. Either we can go for cities, go for towns, or we can go state.
I had these.
Oh, awesome. What is that? Are these the zip codes of different
towns, yeah. That
of
I
different
think.
towns? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so great job doing that. Narrowed audience. Okay, narrowed towns. Now, what we've got to be very careful with is that our audience is in the millions, and we ideally want to keep it above 1 million. Ideally, it's not the end of the world, but we notice cheaper ad costs once it is higher than 1 million. So what we'll do is we'll come down, we'll look at your audience, we'll set this one to go live at $10. We'll set it to go live. Well, it's 9 a.m. Eastern time now, so we can actually set it live now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off Advantage Plus. I'm going to switch to original audience settings. So now we're being very restrictive to Facebook, and where there's no ifs, no buts, you're showing it to these places. So right now we are excluding South Carolina, North Carolina, Mississippi, Louisiana, and showing it to everywhere else. So here's what we could do. We can delete, well, we can't delete the United States because we've got to add something else in there first, unless you add another location. So you were mentioning in terms of towns. Now, could you just give me an example zip code that you had there? Let's just see if this works. Do you have like an example zip code that I could type in?
Yeah, sure. 22040.
22040. And let's see if this works. Well, I'm getting Rio de Janeiro here. Is this what city is this, by any
22040.
chance? What city is this? What town?
Falls Church. Falls Falls Church. Virginia.
22040. Let's see if I can type in Falls Church. Okay, no, it's not coming up. So there is a chance if I type in Falls Church again, there is a chance that this might be too. Is it in Virginia?
That one, yeah.
Okay,
That one.
awesome. Falls Church, Virginia. There we go. Nice. Okay. And then what it's doing a 25-mile radius of Falls Church. Just
Yeah,
outside.
that's perfect. Can we type another one?
We absolutely can. The only thing I'm worried about here, Christina, is that we're going to need about 50 of these, really,
Okay.
to get to a good number. And it looks like you've done that. I tell you what, yeah, rattle them off, and we'll keep adding them in, and we'll see what we get.
Okay. This one in the chat, McLean.
John McLean. Is that in Virginia
Virginia.
again? Okay, nice. Okay, so there's a bit of an overlap there. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
spot that. So
Yeah, that they are.
we could probably move. So what I've done is we've clicked Virginia, we've clicked McLean, and what that is it's given us a 25-mile radius around Washington.
Okay.
So we're probably good for Washington now.
How about this one in the chat?
Boca Raton. I
Yeah.
think I've heard of that before. Is that famous for some reason? Is it famous for something?
It's just a very wealthy town in Florida.
Okay, not Bocas Raton, Boca Raton. If I can spell it right. There it is. Very nice. Okay, cool. So that 25-mile radius. So it's getting bigger. Any other cities? Any other towns?
I didn't come prepared with
No
more.
worries. No
Okay.
worries. But I tell you what we'll do is because we've got this selected, reach more people likely to respond to your ads. I'm also maybe thinking New York City. What do you
Yeah.
reckon? New York
Yeah,
City,
like
maybe Boston?
Manhattan, maybe.
Yeah, let's do that. Manhattan, we've got a lot of them here. There we go. Okay, nice. What else can we add here? What about Boston?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yep. And what we're doing is we're just pointing Facebook in the right direction. So we've got Boston here. Any in California that you can help, or is that Pacific time?
I could help them, but they're pretty far away from me, and I'll have to start tutoring late in the evening.
Yeah, okay. Let's avoid that for the time being. But I'm looking at the map here. We've got Portland. Any other places up here we can chuck in? Hartford, Connecticut.
Maybe. Now it's just up to our guessing, I guess.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this where it is at the moment here. Now, this is a very small audience, but I've clicked this button right here, which is going to give Facebook permission, if it feels like it, to go out a little bit further and show your ads to people who they might be a good fit. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to publish this one. I think this is going to be a good test. I'm going to publish this one. I'm going to bring the other $10 down. I'm going to bring the other $20 down to $10.
Is the instant form okay?
Let's have a little look.
Yeah.
So doesn't look like it's published. Let me just, okay, so we've got the dynamic creative set up. Okay, nice. It was this one, wasn't it? This one was a new video.
Yes.
Yes, cool. Next. Done. Okay, nice. Now let's take a little look at your instant form. But it definitely didn't stop us getting leads beforehand. Want your first or second grade? Want your first or second? Yeah. What do you reckon? Do you reckon
There's
we
a
can-
mistake in there.
Do you reckon we can add an R?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's have a little look. We'll duplicate this one here. I'm not going to add SMS verification, but that's something that we can look in testing in the future. We'll call this one now, we'll just call it V3. More volume. Going to make this open. Going to turn this one off here. So just a few little kind of housekeeping stuff. Want your first or second grader? I'm going to change this to want to improve your child's want to improve your child's reading level. Okay, I know we've taken out the first to second grader, but we're just making it a little bit more broad. I like it because we're obviously asking these questions later on. Okay, What grade is your child in at school? Fantastic. Next. Create form. Can you remember what to do, Christina, when you create a new instant form with the Tutor Boss stuff?
You mean to get it to give me notifications?
Yeah, do you remember how to do that?
It might be back somewhere far in my notes. I don't remember offhand the steps.
Let me do it for you now. Let me just show you how to do it. So this is for useful for everyone else here. If you ever create a new instant form, we need to go into Tutor Boss. Let me just find your account. Do you know your tutor boss name, Christina, by any chance?
Yeah, it is. It's
Reading with something.
It's coming. It's maybe distance learning tutors. It's
That was
distance
it.
learning tutors.
That's it.
Distance
Cool.
learning tutors.
Okay, guys. So whenever you create a new instant form, we need to map it into your tutor boss account. So you come down to settings here, then inside of settings, go down to integrations. So settings, integrations, Facebook form fields mapping here at the top. And we'll see that the new form that I've just created is already in there. Great. So tutor boss has already picked it up. Click map fields. What grade is your child in at school? What year is your child in? Very nice. Press confirm. And yeah, there we go, Christina. That's now going to be coming into your account. Nice.
Wonderful.
Let me just
Thank you.
go back and turn off the old one. So we had set that up. We got this one going live. I duplicated it a couple of times. There we go. Turn this one off. Okay, so nice. Now, when you do notice your leads coming through, and if we do notice an uptick in quality, then we can go ahead and move this $10 and move it onto that narrowed audience just set up. So be on the lookout this week. Remember, you can always come back into your ads, and if you're unsure whether or not you have had any leads come through, remember you can always click the download button and we can download those leads and see if we notice a quality. But two things I'm hoping for here, Christina. We've taken off Advantage Plus, so we should notice less. So there should be no grandparents whatsoever. And we should hopefully notice that these parents are in a better time zone for you and ideally in a better financial situation. Now, the world's economy isn't in the best situation at the moment anyway. So just remember, if we're asking a question early on about their finances, if we've just had a 5-minute conversation with them and we're asking them whether or not they'd invest in tutoring, be prepared for people to say that they don't have money. Now, in the grand scheme of things, $200 to get started to help their child read on grade level, if they really do see your program as the guiding light to help their child get that result that they want, we better believe that they could probably scrape together into their savings some money to give towards your program. And that's one thing that I learned the hard way, is I kept thinking that I'm speaking to parents that don't have any money, and if I can only show my ad to millionaires, this would all be easy. But a lot of it comes down to, if we're selling a time-intensive program that requires a hefty amount of work from both the parent and the student, they need to be brought in. They need to be brought in on your unique learning method. They need to be brought in on you, and they need to see you as the expert that's going to take them there. And a lot of that just comes down to, do you understand their pains? Do you understand their goals? Not the surface level stuff. I know we've spoken about this before, but the real nitty gritty stuff. What's keeping that parent up at night? Where would they love their child to be in 2 years' time? Amazing, Christina. Let's see how this one goes. I've got very high hopes for it. Maybe see you on Friday, because that could be good. We probably have a couple of leads that have come through between now and then.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Ali.
No problem. Thanks, Christina. Okay. All right, guys. I've got about 5 or 6 minutes before I got to shoot off. Anyone else that I didn't get to will be receiving a Loom video. I've got Claire Layden. Is Claire Layden here? Nope, no Claire. Next, we have Kelly Kastner. Is Kelly here?
I'm here.
Hey, Kelly, good to see you.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. I'm doing well. Okay, so just reading out your question here. I would like further guidance on how to improve my ads and increase my lead generation. So the last time we submitted to the clinic, I gave you the advice, I believe, to change your audience just from Scotland to the whole of the UK.
I'm in Texas.
You're in Texas, aren't you? Why am I reading this? Kelly Kastner. Oh, have I got your questions mixed up? Give me a second, Kelly. Apologies.
Mine dealt with getting a lot of kids answering forms.
Yes, and we haven't spoken in the ad clinic, I don't think, before, have we?
No, I haven't.
We haven't. Apologies, Kelly. I'm not sure what's happened
No worries.
there. I think when I copied over the questions, maybe there was a bit of an issue there. There we go. Here's your question. Sorry for saying that you're in Scotland.
Oh, I wouldn't mind.
No, I think Texas is better. I'm not going to lie. Okay, so the calls that I've gotten answers to, with the exception of one, have been children filling out the forms themselves. Oh, okay. This is a common problem. Let me just get this up. So what age are the students that you're focusing on?
9 to 11.
9 to 11. So this is where it gets a bit interesting, because you're not the first person to have seen this before. But when we think about it, 9 and 11-year-olds should not have Facebook. They shouldn't have been able to set it up, right? I don't know what it is nowadays. I used to have to wait till I was 16 to create an account. So they shouldn't have
Not
Facebook.
around here. Not around here. When the parents laugh about it, I'm thinking, what else are they signing up for? But anyway.
Exactly. That's another barrel of fish, isn't it? Or whatever the saying is. But one thing that we do sometimes see is that parents fill out the form, but they put their kids' information in. But I don't see that happening in this case, because why would they put their 9-year-old's phone number in for you to speak to? So when you call these numbers, are 9, 10-year-old or 11-year-olds picking up the phone?
The one yesterday did. I actually have had 4 of them now, and the one yesterday did. And it was quite comical because she said she wasn't the age of the one that was there that had filled it out, but no, it was a child's phone that time. The other ones have been the parent's phone number. And I even hit it like, well, if your child filled this out, is your child having some problems in math? Kind of like maybe you don't realize your child is having problems in math, but no, they didn't. No,
Okay.
didn't get anywhere.
Didn't get anywhere. Didn't get anywhere. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to duplicate one of your audiences here, and I'm going to make it a little bit more extreme. So a little bit like what I just did with Christina here. I'm going to take a lot of the leeway that Facebook's got in terms of showing your ad to people that are outside of your audience. So I'm going to press duplicate your audience here. We'll call this now interests 14th of October, and we'll call this ad set C. Okay, I'm going to come down here. We are 8 a.m. Central Time. Okay, fantastic. Same time as me, so that's brilliant. We can launch it straight away. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to remove your saved audience. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to further limit the reach of your ads. I'm just going to press a few buttons here just so that we have a few more restrictions on Facebook. Okay, I'm going to change this to English all. So can you just briefly tell me about the age of your offer, who it is that you're trying to attract, the age of the student?
It's the 9 through 11-year-olds. So you're saying maybe their parents could be anywhere from 28 and up?
Yep, 28 and up, absolutely. And sorry,
can we limit the older ones too? Because the grandparents that I'm getting, unfortunately, are the grandparents that are having to take care of their grandchildren.
Yes.
And it's the ones that have responded and I've talked to have been very difficult situations as far as the mother was unfit, the money's not there.
Absolutely. So I'm just looking at your winning image here, which is image A.
And my images are so poor compared, but I have to admit, my daughter's getting married next Saturday, a week from Saturday, and it's been like this business, wedding, business, wedding. So after the 25th of October, I'm going to be a free bird. So.
Oh, amazing. Oh, fantastic. Well, congratulations to your daughter.
Thank you.
Yeah, so your image looks really good. Want your 9 to 11-year-old child to master maths in 12 weeks. Really, really like it. I think the one thing that we've got to be thinking about just when you are ready to jump back into this at the end of October, especially if you're going to be filming video ads, is maybe making it more of a polarizing message. And here's what I mean. Now, 9 to 11-year-olds, pretty much all of them probably struggle with maths to a certain degree. But it's what in particular are they struggling with? Is your speciality maybe helping students with dyscalculia? Because that's a very specific need now. These are students who are coming to you who might be 9 or 11 years old who still don't know their times tables, for example. So just thinking ever so slightly about, if I could fill up a group of students that are all the same, what do they look like? Okay, well, they're all 9 to 11 years old. They don't maybe know all of their times tables yet. They could be working at top of the class, but they're not working at top of the class. Maths is the worst subject in the school. And you can see that you're just starting to create this kind of avatar of this student that you're trying to attract. And that's really important because we need to make sure that we're saying those things, that we're speaking to the parent of that child. That comes with time. That comes with, listening to what the market tells you when you do speak to your leads. But that's just something, a little something to be aware of there as well, especially with creating video ads too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to your audience here. Now am I right in saying that you can help anyone in the US?
Yes, but when Christina was talking about times, I started thinking, that might be a problem. I need to start thinking about when I'm offering and what time zone is in that offer. I don't want to stay up till 11 o'clock at night with the East Coast. So, I need to alter that, probably be to more central.
To more central states? Well, we can do that right now. We can do that right now. And I think that's going to help you when you're calling your leads anyway. Because if you're calling your leads in the afternoon and you're calling a lead in New York, for example, could be the middle of the night for them, right?
Right. I've been looking up area codes so I don't wake them up, especially from Texas to, say, California.
Yeah.
It's 2 hours and it's 6 a.m. if I'm calling them at 8. But
yeah, just little things like this to be careful with. So if we were just to rattle off some states, I put Texas in there. What other states would be perfect?
We can go straight up with Oklahoma and Kansas. Help me out, people. Oklahoma, Kansas. Is it Montana? No, that's South Dakota, North Dakota. Is that right?
South Dakota, North Dakota, Colorado.
Yes. Colorado's just an hour, but an hour is not a big deal. You could do Arizona.
Not a big deal. Yeah, I'm only concerned when it's like 4, 5, 6 hours.
Yeah.
So Colorado.
Come on, chat people. Where's your geography? Help me out. Arizona, New Mexico. Where's my map? Oh, doggone it.
No, these are some great ones. These are some great ones.
Are those the good ones? Okay.
Yeah, we got some good ones. We got some Christina's help there. We got Missouri.
Thank you. Kansas.
There
It's
we
like I
go.
can rattle them, but not when I'm under pressure. I would not be good on a game show.
Well, the good thing is we've got New Mexico, Missouri, Kansas, Colorado, Arizona, Texas. We got some nice central states here. And maybe we need one more. Montana?
Louisiana?
Yeah, Louisiana.
Why not? Arkansas?
Arkansas.
I'm thinking sports now, and my husband's gonna be mad. Missouri?
We got Missouri in there. Okay, nice. I'm just trying to get it over 1 million. That's all.
Leave out Austin, Texas, because Texas Aggies don't like the Longhorns. No, I'm just kidding. Never mind. Keep football out of it. 6-0, just saying. I'm sorry.
I'm sure you've offended some people in here, but not me. Okay, fantastic. Honestly, Kelly, let's just go with this one. We got
Okay.
a really
Let's
good
do it.
states in there. That's going to go live straight away.
Great.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off one of your other ad sets here. Turn off this one here. I'm going to move this one down to 5. Okay.
When I grow up, I want to be able to do it as fast as you are.
I appreciate that. It took me 2 years. So that'll be soon enough.
Did you see the gray hair? Come on.
Amazing, Kelly. Yeah, keep in contact with your coach. Maybe see you next Tuesday. I can always
All
shoot
right.
you a video if you can't attend. But yeah, hopefully we notice some better responses when we call these leads.
Perfect. All right.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, everyone else. If I didn't get to your question today, guys, I'll be sending you a Loom video over in your channel just a little bit later on. But one of the themes today, guys, has been turning off Advantage Plus. So if you're sitting here thinking, I'm getting some weird leads coming through, I'm getting people coming through that really shouldn't have clicked on my ad, test turning off Advantage Plus. What that means is that you are no longer giving a long leash to Facebook. You are no longer allowing Facebook to do the targeting for you. You're saying, hey, no, Facebook, I want you to show it to only people in these locations, only people with this age, and I don't want you to think outside the box. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But for in this example, Christina and Kelly, to stop getting more grandparents, this is what we need to do. Okay. Amazing, guys. Have a great rest of your week. Amazing to see you all, and I'll catch you in the next clinic. Bye, everyone.
And so there you go. There was a sneak peek behind the scenes, what it looks like when we have our head of marketing coaching you how to improve your advertising efforts as an online tutor. And look, whether you're just getting started or if you're looking to scale, the advice that we give is, of course, completely tailored to your current situation. So look, if you'd like to get our help inside of our Students on Demand program, there'll be a link down below this video. Just click it and go and fill out an application, and then book in a call if you're a qualified fit to work with us, and we'll walk you through the next steps to get started inside of our Students on Demand coaching program.